Hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Show. I'm your host, Richie Lee, here with my co-host, Matty B. Kicking things off, we got some big NFL news where the Steelers have signed DK Metcalf. And I think this creates a dilemma for them. I feel like it's a precursor to them sticking with Russell Wilson just because they played together in Seattle. They have a rapport. You bring in a big-time wide receiver. I feel like this also signals that there's pressure on Mike Tomlin, whether they want to admit it or not. They have to win a playoff game.
Or they don't.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you don't make a move like this if you're not actively in win now mode. My conspiracy theory is that there's some pressure from like TJ Watt, right? You see Myles Garrett sign that gigantic deal. And, hey, they're not winning, but he's getting paid. TJ Watt's here. Players don't want to play on mid teams, right? They don't want to just make the playoffs. That's not a good career. How many quarterbacks, like from the 90s, when people were like, remember all those great quarterbacks in the 90s? And now, when you look back, people get dropped off. Like, I think it's funny when the TV guys talk about, like, Dan Fouts being great. He didn't win anything. They really don't talk about him anymore, except for like throwing old highlights of him getting killed by Steve Young in that Super Bowl. And it's like, all right, you have to win. Like TJ Watt, just like his brother JJ. JJ didn't win anything. And he made a move mid-career, right, to get to a winning team. And I wonder if TJ hinted at that. Right? I don't know what his contract is. But when the defense is doing so much and the offense can't do anything, I think they're stuck where if they make a move or they go full rebuild, I think they're going to lose players like TJ Watt. And I don't think they want to do that because I don't think the fans would support it. Do you agree?
Well, I think if you do it in a manner where, I don't know, you tank the year, and then you maybe draft Arch Manning with the number 1 overall pick, and then you have your stable quarterback for the next decade. Might be worth it.
But can Arch be that quarterback?
Yes.
We haven't seen it.
It doesn't matter. His uncles will be on ESPN. You'll get the favorable bump. It'll be just like being a Big Ten team on Fox. Or an SEC team on ESPN. You'll just get a bump. They'll be like, oh, no, definitely, they're worth it.
He'll be getting the MVPs, and they'll say, he'll win a Super Bowl, maybe. Or you get the Eli treatment where they talk about how he sucks all the time, even if he wins a Super Bowl. They're like, you're in the Hall of Fame? Heck no. He's like, but my numbers. They're like, we don't like you. We like the other Manning. That's kind of why I wonder if Eli, when they do the Manning cast, if that's Eli's way to like try to smooch in with like the media. And he's like, maybe you'll start liking me more. Because I honestly think a lot of them hold grudges, and that push to get him drafted by a different team, I think that is why people push him out. I mean, I know his record wasn't that great, but it's a team sport. Right? That's like people like, oh, Barry Bonds never won a World Series. It's like, yeah. He was the entire team. Pirates haven't even, when he was with the Pirates, like they were close, but they weren't winning anything. Then he goes to the Giants and he was the team. Can people even name another guy on those Giants teams? Maybe Jeff Kent? I don't know who else they would name. So that's kind of where we're at with the Manning thing. I just haven't seen it from Arch. Like, if he was that great, they would have played him. All the pressure is for them to play him last year. And it had to be there. Because I look at it, even from, that was year 2, right? I look at it from Harbaugh's perspective when he was at Michigan. They had Cade and JJ, right? JJ was used just like Arch Manning, coming in, running, maybe passing barely, and everyone's like, oh, man, they got to do whatever. Coach has the fake, hey, we're going to have a battle. I think he started Cade one game, and then JJ took over, and that was it. I was honestly expecting that last year from Texas, right? Where Arch just comes in, Ewers got hurt. They had the excuse, hey, Ewers got banged up. Arch is in. And when he didn't take the job over, I don't think I would draft him number one. Dude, you're just drafting on name at that point. Might as well just draft Deion Sanders' kid. Right?
I mean, it's valid.
Because like, that's where I saw a debate. Steelers reached out to or the rumors that they reached out to Mason Rudolph. And the Titans are now between, they're talking about, do they take Cam Ward? Do they try to go with Sanders? Like, if they have a pick, how do you pick? Like, Ward's older, more experienced. Does Sanders have higher upside? Is it all hype? I don't know.
I think he has potential. I think the thing with drafting him, though, is that you're always going to have to deal with Deion. And do you want to have him?
Not if he's coaching, though. If he's still at Colorado, dude, he can't be at the NFL too.
But I feel like he's been riding Travis Hunter and his sons up through. So it was like from.
Well, that's why I was worried about Colorado. What are they doing now? You're right.
I think Colorado's pretty much accommodated literally everything that he's wanted. So,
well, he has to get transfers in. He's not recruiting well. At the point he recruited that one class, you're right, where Jacksonville State, is that where he was? And then he had them transfer with him as he worked his way up.
But I believe he brought in Caden Salter. So, I mean, I think there may not be as deep of a drop-off.
But see, if he gets fired, then the NFL has to kind of look and say, all right, now you might be right. If he gets fired and no one hires him. I mean, there are teams that back when he was coming up, right? Teams that passed on him. I'm pretty sure West Virginia passed on him. NC State and Tennessee, remember when they were doing that dance? They both passed on him. And because Doran was supposed to go to Tennessee.
But wasn't part of that the fact that he didn't have like a college degree either? Like, did that hold him back from some of those? I know that that was one of the, yeah.
I don't know. Does it matter?
It did.
I feel like a lot of schools that were in on him, like the West Virginia's, Tennessee, NC State, I know is rumored. There's a couple other ACC ones where they knew that it would bump them up, but they weren't sure how he would work with like West Virginia. From who I've talked to, they kind of really wanted him, but they couldn't accommodate some of his like wish list type things, like the money side. And of course they're West Virginia, but he could have probably made it work. So I don't know. Colorado, remember, they threw all the money at him. Tennessee could have accommodated him. They just didn't think he would vibe, is what I had heard. And I don't really know a lot of Tennessee people, so I'm not sure. Like, I don't have an insider there.
Because I know when they were when Florida State was in the process of replacing Taggart, his name was brought up as a possible fit. But at the time, he didn't have it, and that's where that controversy of he doesn't claim Florida State because his degree was HBCU, and like he'd finished his degree up at Howard or whatever. So that, or Jackson State or wherever, whichever one that he finished his degree with, and then that opened more doors for him as far as the interest from schools.
Yeah, see, I can't remember the timing. I think West Virginia was at like before Colorado. And then they stuck with Neil, whatever his name was. Didn't they give him an extension?
Neil Brown.
Yeah, I think Tennessee and NC State would have been before he was at Jackson State or whatever that was. So I think that or was it Jacksonville State, or is that where Rich Rod was? No, I don't even know. But
Rich Rod was at Jacksonville State.
Okay. Yeah. So, and they brought him back, and we'll see how that works out. I really want that to work, but that's like a weird, selfish thing. I really wanted him to work at Michigan, and it just didn't happen. That was before I was even there, right? So I don't know. I just don't think that Arch, like, going back, I haven't seen it yet. Now, maybe he lights it up, wins Texas a national championship this year, and it kind of goes all in. But I'm wondering if, because I see Sarkisian, the moves he's making are very Harbaugh-esque, other than going shotgun like on the goal line. Harbaugh never would have done that. I almost wonder if he's going to bubble wrap Manning this year, where he stops running, and that makes him one-dimensional. And I think we're going to see a drop. I don't even know if I think his draft stock's going to be on name alone. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he's going to put up the numbers people expect, because I really think Sarkisian's going to make him one-dimensional, and that's not his game. Now in the NFL, he has to adapt to that anyway. So it's probably doing him a benefit. I think he'll be a better NFL quarterback maybe than college, but I wouldn't draft him number one.
But I think with the same rigor that you're looking at drafting Sanders, you're looking with Arch. The same that the Lakers looked with Bronny. Like you're not buying it based off of where they're at. You're buying what their genetics have been and what it could possibly be.
Well, that's where I said, like, if this year, if they make him a pure passive quarterback and it's rough, consider that year one of NFL development, right? And then who knows, maybe even Sark gets back to an NFL head coaching gig. He goes with Manning. He could very easily go out, win a national championship with Arch. I'm wrong. Arch looks awesome. And they're a package deal to some team, right? You don't get the number one pick having a great head coach. So you just fire them and bring Sark in. And then you're like, all right, you already coaching the NFL, because there were rumors last year teams were looking at him. Remember? Didn't Cowboys want him?
Yeah.
So, like, I could very easily see Texas doing great. Cowboys are doing bad. They just tank and bring both in next year. I wouldn't even bat an eye. If I woke up next year and you were like, hey, what'd I miss? And you're like, Cowboys are getting Arch and Sarkisian, I'll say, oh, man, that makes so much sense. They like it big down there. That would be your media blitz deal, your Brawny deal that you brought up. Cowboys. Now, whether they go all the way to get the number one pick, that's a different story. I don't know. What are the? I gotta look and see how far they fell this year. They could be proactive and try to make a trade down to get next year's number one from somebody. Then you could have two number ones. You could try to move up to the number one pick next year to get Manning. If he's even that high, like I said, if he has a bad year, I don't think teams draft him number one just because. That'd be the most insane thing. Fans, I think, well, maybe fans wouldn't even be upset. I don't know. Like if the Steelers didn't experiment, because right now it's between Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I don't hope the Steelers don't get him. I'm on record on this show years ago when he was still with the Packers that year. They couldn't score against the Niners in the playoffs. I wanted Jordan Love to take over. I thought he was washed then. He leaves, goes to the Jets, gets injured, misses like the entire year. Last year, he looked washed. You bring him to the Steelers, I don't care if you bring in DK Metcalf, and then there's rumors that if Aaron Rodgers comes, maybe they can get Devontae Adams. Could you imagine that weapon set that he would have? Now, they lost Najee Harris to the Chargers, right? That's a win. I didn't think he was that good. I honestly thought Warren was better if Warren stays, right? So,
wow,
dude, his stats are the same every year. It's a mid rushing line. Like, you can't tell me, oh, he's awesome. And I hate even saying mid. I think I said it twice this show. God damn. But not worth a great running back thing. You could probably draft a running back in this draft in the 3rd round that's better and has higher upside, I think.
Scatabo.
That would be a Steelers pick, right? Although Niners just released, what is that fullback's name? I can't even pronounce it right. The Polish guy, what's his name? Kyle something? Jutskits or something? You know how to pronounce it. I don't know. They released him, so that's where Scatabo is going to go. Christian McCaffrey and Scatabo. And the same backfield, dude.
Oh, use check.
Yeah, use check. That's it. So they're going to have him and McCaffrey and Scatabo is going to replace the Deebo Samuels. That's my prediction. When that happens, write that down. Just gamble on it, but I'm not giving any legal advice or gambling advice. Gambling's bad. You don't want to do that. Yeah, did you see those gambling controversies? There's been a lot of them popping up. I haven't really seen them in the news, but there's been a lot of additional. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think, because that one Ohio State player was like investigated for point shaving. And then it turns out there are a lot of college games where guys are just shaving points and they don't care. Because you can like get friends to bet. How do you prove it? I'd be very weary betting whenever the kids can just do whatever they want.
Court, apparently.
Well, they'll watch and see like, well, this guy's supposed to be good. He's washed. You don't know if he's washed up. You come out, strike out. I mean, you can bet on anything. You could bet that a guy strikes out in a game. Like, remember, like if Saquon Barkley gets a touchdown, he's like sliding down beforehand. What if he had family bet the opposite? Like, oh, I'm not going to score this week, guys. Just go ahead. Coach is focused on other people, and you're the family. That's like insider trading that they can't. If they can't stop politicians from doing stock trades, they're not going to stop athletes from like helping their family out. Especially if there's no way to prove it, and like he had a chance to, like Barkley had a chance to put the game away. All he has to do is pull McCaffrey and start limping and just run out of bounds. And say like, I thought my hammy went. Yeah, I'm good now though. Only whenever I broke free, I didn't want to score a touchdown. Put in our other guy. Let him get a few touchdowns. Like betting on yourself to score is harder. Like Pete Rose, when they were like betting on himself, like to win only. And they have all the things. That's why people were saying, well, they just didn't find proof that he bet on his team to lose. It's like, dude, they had the proof. And he bet on his team to win every time. I think even Trump was saying that, like they should put him in the thing, the Hall of Fame.
Well, and it kicked up stuff saying that there could be something to it.
What? Him getting in?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it came back out where he's told them that they're going to put him in right after he dies. And he said at that point, he doesn't care. Like they didn't put him in. He don't consider him in. Don't have a ceremony for him. I saw like his quote before he died. So I agree with them. They didn't put Barry Bonds in. Who cares? They're going to put Barry Bonds in when he dies too then. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, oh, we're going to pretend the records don't exist. Once a bunch of those old baseball writers die, you'll see a new flush of people come in saying, like, with Barry Bonds, everybody's on roids now. Like, you can't deny it. Even if it's not steroids, it's like, oh, better nutrition or whatever. I don't buy it. So, I don't know. What do you think of Aaron Rodgers? You like him?
No.
So you'd buy his jersey? Pittsburgh?
No, I've made it loud and clear who they need to bring in.
Mason Rudolph.
No, he still has CTE getting clunked in the head. No,
Jameis, he's dead to me. He didn't tweet back at me.
That's because he's too busy signing contracts with. He's negotiating right now.
I'll tweet him again. Say, why you didn't sign with the Steelers yet? I'm waiting for you. Come on, homie.
It's a matter of time. They're going to do the right thing and make it happen.
Well, Brissett went to the Cardinals as backup. Colts signed Daniel Jones, which is a horrible move. The Jets went with Fields. I think the logical place for Winston is to go to the Jets. Fields isn't going to work out, right? They have weapons. Unless the Aaron Rodgers posse left, and I don't know about it. All of them. Did they all leave? Brees Hall's still there.
Yeah.
Tell Jameis, you like handing off? You don't even need your LASIK for that.
See, you go to Pittsburgh. They already have big receivers. Just throw the ball up to them. You don't even need to be accurate. You can just throw it in the area, and they'll go get it.
Well, Pickens will be there, right? He's not going to hold out or anything. So if you have Pickens, DK Metcalf, and then you get Devontae Adams, if Aaron Rodgers sucks with that receiving core.
Well, Roethlisberger said he'd be willing. He might be considering coming out of retirement for that crew.
That would be awesome, right? What if he did come out?
Problem solved.
Tom Brady comes out, dude. He's in shape. I watch his Instagram. He's ready to go at any time. Although he looked kind of sickly. That's what people were telling me on the Super Bowl. I don't know. I still think he looks great, Tom.
I would take sickly Tom Brady right now over the field.
Even with Roethlisberger in there?
Yeah. I don't trust Roethlisberger's habits off the field. I feel like he's probably like me, just eating whatever the hell he wants.
He walks in, he can't get his helmet on his head. He's like, size up, baby. Size me. They're like, we have all your old stuff. We've been hoping you'd come back. And he's just like one of those adults putting on like their kids' football outfits, just in it, busting out of the seams. Like, come on, guys. And he's like shotgun every play. And I'm throwing before I get hit. He needs a running back. Le'Veon Bell, man, he's having court issues. I read that case. I don't even want to talk about it. But I thought, what the hell? Why don't you defend yourself? That makes you look guilty as hell. Like, horrible allegations, and you got to at least show up. That's what Deshaun Watson taught us. Defend yourself. Bro, that's horrible news to hear. So, I don't even know who I guess if they could go to I've been talking about them just picking a guy out of the Genty from Boise State. Get him. He's a power back, right?
Yeah.
Roethlisberger, handing off to him or throwing it up. I think you just run trips. I would run trips every play. Why even mess with success?
Just run the polecat.
Yeah, everyone's just crisscrossing, and you can get the ball out quick, right? Have someone just run a hitch or a slant, or just go deep, like a Hail Mary, modified Hail Mary. And
just sign Usain Bolt and just be like, you're just running a fade.
Tony Gonzalez will run out. He'll be like, oh man, I'm back. Did you see me on the best dressed promo? I'm here. Steelers, bring me back. I need a couple more. Just to throw the ball up. We can still jump. LeBron will make his shift finally. He'll come out and say, just throw the ball up to me. I'm old man LeBron. Although, did you see that flop he had the other game? I can't take him serious.
He might be better prepared for soccer.
Dude, the TV cameras are on you. They can easily review and see that he didn't come close to getting hit, and he fell down holding his face. I honestly think they should suspend him for like 2 games. It's the only way players are going to stop. Like, if you review it, I think the other team should be able to review it and say, like, hey, he flopped.
This is bullshit.
It's like a reverse targeting in the NFL. Like, you're out 2 games. Like, you're out the rest of this game and 2 more. But maybe players will start doing it to get arrests, though. Right?
That's their load management. Well, how pissed off would you be that you go to buy tickets for that game and then they're like, oh man, now I can't see my favorite player.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're already doing that, and fans are complaining because players are just sitting, and they made it a case that like you have to announce when a star player is going to sit because people are wanting refunds because like they're not selling it as team sport anymore. they're always like, oh, go see LeBron play. And then if you buy a ticket to go see him play, I'm sure the WNBA is having the same thing. If Caitlin Clark misses a game, there's going to be complaints. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's what would open up like eyes in the WNBA if Clark like just got hurt and then like they saw all the ticket sales just drop or like flood the resale market and tickets are like $1. If that.
Well, did you see the news with that?
No.
Angel Reese was saying if they don't start getting better wages that they're going to strike.
I saw AB said he had a fake quote where they said that AB said no one would notice. And then he said, I didn't say that.
Well, I think the funnier thing is, like, you look at that, and the WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. So, like, they're, like, operating on a $40 million deficit to begin with. And you're saying, oh, we need to be paid more. It's like, you're not bringing anything to the table. Like, in what galaxy do you think that you're gonna receive a pay raise when you're not even the leading draw in your league?
Well, I saw the same thing, and I think I talked about that a couple weeks ago with the TV contracts where ESPN keeps making cuts. I think they announced that they were cutting more talent and signing Stephen A. Smith to like a gigantic contract. And it's like, yeah, they're overworking that dude. He's doing like all the shows now, and he's making all the money because no one else is watching other shows because they were all like too political or whatever. They cut them. Now they have to start making cuts. The NBA can't keep carrying along the WNBA. The NBA ratings are down. How do they keep making money? It's almost like I don't understand it. What other business could lose money for like 30 years that still exists? That's not a joke. That's a real question. Like at some point, they have to give up. Like Disney's in trouble, and there are rumors again when the ESPN made those cuts, just like the last 3 times, that Disney could just put ESPN up for sale. They sell ESPN to whatever thing, but like you got to be careful because I don't know if any buyers are out there. Bally Sports or whatever went belly up. Every TV thing is on a different stream. Like if you want to watch MLS, you could just buy Apple TV. And I think that's kind of where MLB is going with Apple TV. TNT almost lost the NBA. They realized that fans were upset and brought it back with Charles Barkley and them. Because let's be real, people are watching for Charles Barkley. They're not watching the game. Right?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley's comments are going viral. Not whatever guy's making a layup, unless LeBron's flopping out there. Then everyone sees it. And so they're like, well, it's a star-driven league. They need stars. It's like, no, it's turning into WWE. And yeah, WWE has consistent fans, but they kind of know and expect it. They want a great show. It's hard to do that faking like a real sport like basketball. You go see a guy, he's going to put on a show, and he has an off night where he's cold, like Steph Curry missing a bunch of threes. You're not going to take your kid to go see that. So that's where, like, NFL, for whatever reason, keeps growing. The other sports keep dying. Other than baseball, they, like, still defy. The regional draw is still so strong in baseball that it doesn't get fans like in the middle of the country. If you're not by a team, probably nobody's watching. Right? That's why I was surprised. There's so many Braves fans here in Raleigh because the MLB tries to say like, oh, you guys are in Orioles country or the Nationals fans. It's like, no. Raleigh considers himself to be part of like the South. Atlanta's the team. No one's pretending to be part of whatever, the Nationals, right? There's like no Nationals fans down here. I go out, play softball, half the team's wearing Braves hats, dude. So it's like, all right, that's the local team. If they put a team in Charlotte, I don't think people would cheer for the other team. It's the same like a lot of fans down here, they don't cheer for the Panthers, they still cheer for the Redskins. And when the Redskins name changed, I personally know at least 5 people down here that pushed them over to cheer for the Panthers. They didn't want the name change. They still had to draw to the Redskins, but when the Redskins were killed, that kind of helped the Panthers. And considering I know at least 5 people that happened to, that I wouldn't be surprised if there were more. The Panthers are like, hey, our fan is up. It's like, it's not you guys. You guys are still awful. But the Redskins don't exist, and they're still awful. Now they're kind of good. So we'll see what happened. Any other NFL moves you want to bring up?
I think we hit on the big ones.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting to see what the Steelers do. And if they bring in the other quarterback to compete, I think that's going to be the one thing that puts a team on. I think it's going to put Mike Tomlin on the hot seat, to be honest. They have to win. If you bring in Aaron Rodgers, he has trouble with coaches. Remember, they got Saleh fired during the season last year.
Yeah.
I don't think Tomlin would be fired during the season.
Well, you know what? I changed my mind. Bring him in.
You want Tomlin gone?
Yes. We'll start the groomers now.
Then wasn't there a rumor like a week ago where they were saying, or was that a month ago maybe now, where they were saying that the preliminary investigations they were doing because teams were interested in interviewing Gruden?
Yeah, he went to Barstool, cleaned up his image.
Is that where he's at? He looked like he was getting out of shape. It looked like he was me. He needs to start working out, my man. Getting too big. That's what I'm at right now, dude. It's allergy season. And I feel so tired and bloated because once I start taking my allergy meds for the first time, because I have like seasonal allergies, so I only take them now. This first week is like the worst. Like I feel like my body just holds the water in. I just want to pass out.
Yuck.
And it's awful because it's like the pollen is heavy down here. And once I sold on my car, I was like, I got it. My eyes were watering so bad. I know if I forget to take it within like 20 minutes, my nose will just start running. I can't get it to stop. But I was with pre-show talked about how I got pulled into coaching this year, but I also decided to bring it back and signed up for the old man church softball league, right? In my mind, I thought I'm never going to do this. And then, I don't know, randomly it came up and I said, you know what? They needed a couple extra people to fill the roster. And I thought, I'll go try it out. We go to our game. First game tonight, dude. The other team forfeits. 1-0, baby. Didn't have to play at all. They had one guy show up, and they were just there to forfeit, they said. So, still don't know how I'm going to be. I will say they had practice, and I cannot judge a fly ball to save my life anymore. I think it's because the softball carries farther than a baseball, like due to the weight. Because like a baseball, when it gets popped up, I'm like running under everything. Like I almost wiped out in the first practice because I didn't have spikes. Because I thought I had a pair and they were metal cleats and they're like, you can't wear metal. So I thought, all right, I'll just play in my sneakers. And then wiped out. I didn't fall. I caught myself. Today, I underran the ball and just wiped out, like landed on my back. Not all the way. Like kind of just skidded down like I slid. I'm like, damn, I overran it every time. Because it looks like it's going to be short. I run in to make the catch. And it's always like 5 feet over. So I had like 2 playable balls. I caught one and then I overran the other one. And then there were 2 that I thought I might be able to make a play on over my head. And they carried. And they were just to the fence. And I thought, man, they carried a lot farther than I expected. Because the one I had ran at an angle thinking I might be able to make a play on this ball. And next thing I know, it's like 5 feet over my head. And I was like, man, I can't judge these softballs to save my life. But it's not like you have practice for an old man softball league. Am I right?
You could, if you were dedicated.
hey, I need you guys to come out and hit me some fly balls.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh would.
Oh, he would. And you know what? I think there's a batting cage. I'm going to look and see because I am just under the ball. Because I've never played slow pitch, like church softball.
Yeah.
I was expecting like more of a fast pitch. And it's kind of fast. They put like the plate behind it. So where it can't be, it's not like a super high like ice cream truck. But it's like, there are some rules that are a little bit different. Like you start with one strike and you can foul out just to keep the game going as fast as possible. So it is, we did a simulated game today because their team wasn't there. And it was a lot faster paced than I expected with the umpy in there. The one thing that's weird is they don't have any plays at the plate. They said it was new for this year. I guess people are getting hurt. So they have
just rocking each other and then limping into work.
Well, they have another home plate, and all plays at the plate are force outs. So you throw to the real catcher, and if they tag home plate before the other guy gets to the second home plate, then they're out. It's like if you break down third base, there's a line, like you know that kind of like where they have the line for the coach. If you get past the coach's box, you have to run home, and it turns into a force play. So I'm like, man, if you're the ump, you're gonna have to like kind of get to the other side. And I think if I was the ump, I would have like that would be an adjustment for me, because you almost have to shimmy out to the first base side to eyeball that other plate down the third base line. So I wasn't expecting that. Other than that, dude, my arm is good. Like I ripped one from the outfield, like to do like a fake play at the plate on a line right in the guy's chest. He said, "Oh my God, that was a great throw." I will say after Sunday, I was just like throwing, and my rotator cuff was sore. Like you knew I didn't throw. So today I was like, I'm gonna see, since we're doing like a simulated game, what it would be like. But they're like, what position you want to play? They're like trying to get me to pick, and I don't even care if I play the field. I don't know if everyone gets to bat. Like I don't know the rules, but I was hitting the ball hard. I felt bad because I hit the ball so hard on like a liner to like second and first base, where it was like a one skip hop, where I hit the dude in the chest. I think it was 3 different players on our team, 3 different times on a skip. Like the ball was harder than they expected to hit him in the chest. And I'm like, yo, you guys okay? I didn't mean to do that, obviously. Rip it. I'm trying to figure out on like the break, like where to actually hit it so that I'm hitting line drives. Because I'm either hitting a hard like skip ground ball or crushing it super high in the air, but not far enough to get a home run. So I don't know. I'll be popping out to the warning track like an old man every time. But I will say that the bat, man, it sounds like it pops when I hit. Like a lot of them were dead. Like you can hear people hit and it's like a dead sound, like tink. No, I was getting some meat on the ball. So I was good there. I thought, well, taking so many years off, because I did the math, man. It's been like what, almost 15 years since I've ever played a team sport. It's going to be an adjustment. Like, how long has it been since you played a team sport? Like for a season. Because I've played like charity games. Like, remember that basketball game I did that one time? And softball before. But it ended up being fast pitch, like I talked about on the show. This is the first time where it's like an actual umpire, a team. There's like a player coach. He said that last year, like with just different things, like there were games where they only had like 3 guys show up. So they had to forfeit. Or because like I think I don't know what the rules are. They were still getting them tonight. But I don't know, like if you get 8 people, you can play 1 down maybe. But any less than that, you have to forfeit. I don't know. So I'm like, I should make all the games. It might mess up our recording schedule for the show a little bit, but it might give us a little bit more content other than me speculating on who the Steelers are going to sign. I will say next week will be the show where I'm like, man, I threw my arm out. I can't lift it up. They put me at third base, and the first throw I ripped across the field and blew my arm right out. I just walked right to the dugout. Sat down, like, I'm done, fellas. Because that's what I thought. Like, I looked at the other team to see like how big some of the other guys were, because I was expecting a co-ed league. No, only guys on our team. I don't know if other teams are co-ed or what. So that was surprising to me. And then what else is different? The strike thing. So there's a protector in front of the pitcher. If you line drive it off the shield, it's a foul ball or an out if it's your second strike. So that's kind of weird. I think I've played or I've seen softball where if you hit the middle, it's an instant like single.
Okay.
Never that if you line it back up the middle that it's an out. Because that happened once tonight, and I thought, well, I'm pulling the ball, crushing it in the air every time, so I'll never hit that. I'm hitting the ball so high that like I'm standing on first base waiting to see it come down. If the guy's gonna catch it or drop it. Like that guy pops it up with some power. The highest ball I've ever seen. What's he doing? I need to go. The timing is just off because you would think a little bit more velocity. I think I would just be crushing the ball like batting practice. But again, it's been 15 years, so who knows? I think it's 15. What would the math have been? It was something like that. Maybe 16 years. But we'll see. This is my motivation because the Big Ten 10K is back. So I'm going to try to run that this summer. And then there's a town charity 5K that I'm going to try to run before that in May. Normally, I've been peaking in May, and then the heat kicks up. And then I really can't run any faster in the heat because I get too dehydrated on my longer runs. So that's my first thing that I'll be filling in. So I don't know. But have you considered playing an adult sport? I'm curious.
It's been years since I've done anything
You're
like
fighting.
That. What's that?
You're fighting now.
Yeah, but I mean that's on a weekly basis, and there's not the team component to it because like you can go as hard or as light as you want. There are days that like if you're just not feeling it, you could be like just going easy or just like drilling just a certain technique that like you're not going to tax yourself as much as if you're like really trying to push yourself.
Well, see, the team thing is nice, but I have a problem now where I'm doing two teams at the same time. I'm never going to learn anyone's name.
But the other thing that I've looked at more recently is that I feel like my cardio is just completely all over the place, and I feel like was it January or February? I felt like I got sick, and since that happened, I'm constantly in a state where I feel like I can't catch my breath. Like my run times are awful. And it's like it's a struggle to just finish, like to get through them. So
next, you're going to tell me you died of COVID.
maybe I did.
That'd be an embarrassing way for the show to end. I'd have to keep it going. I'd bring in another host. I'll say, hey, we need you to come in. We can't have the show end because our host died of COVID. Matt, hey, last show, Matt died of COVID.
I think that would be just a twist of irony, though. Survive like all of the random stuff from the original round of COVID, only to die to like second tier COVID.
You would die of COVID, and then one of the scammers that will keep wanting us to sell Southbound Sports electronic bikes would like donate 2 bikes to the show right after. And I'd get your ashes, bro, and would go on a ride across the country. And I'll spread them out of the Southbound sports bikes. I'll write it up the, what's that trail that goes to Altoona? Does it have a name? I can't remember now. I'll ride it from Portage up through the boonies up through the Altoona. And then I'll leave your bike at the top. So anyone going on that trail will be like, hey, there's a Southbound Sports. Wonder what that is. And they'll find out that you died of COVID. I'll put a mask on it. A blow-up doll with a mask on it in your memory. Would you like that?
Sure.
But yeah, it's off season. I really don't have anything else. I was waiting for the college stuff to kick up because we had the Big Ten and them were talking about the soccer league with the ACC, and then the SEC came back. I was annoyed because we talked about spring football being canceled, and NC State canceled their game, and it was supposed to be on Friday night, was the original announcement, under the lights on ESPN Plus. Now they said that it's a closed practice, so it's not going to be recorded and not open to the public. And that really annoyed me. Saturday games I don't really care about, but a Friday night game I think would have been a great experience for a spring game. And it would have been unique. Because some schools have like transfer portal or recruits come to the spring game, and whenever you have that canceled, I think that has to hurt. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But that's another thing. No updates there. I hope they do update us soon on the conferences and what's going to happen after there. Is there anything else you want to talk about this week?
No.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up. Thanks for listening. If you're in a sports league as an adult, leave us a comment. I'm curious. I was a little bit sore. I'm feeling good now. I mean, we had practice on Sunday. I coached yesterday. Played in a scrimmage today because the team forfeited. And now I have a few weeks off, or a week off, till the next game's Tuesday next week. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated. Probably have to pre-record because of my schedule. So I won't be able to give an update on the games until the following week. But by then we should have some Steeler news. If there's anything else you want to talk about, let me know, and we will see you next week.